Hey guys, my name is Daniel. I'm a senior at Norcross, and I play the tuba. Today I'm going to show you a few techniques and methods that you can use while you're practicing, even though we can't go to school, so that hopefully while you're stuck at home, you can improve on that music that you're working on. Any exercises that I'm going to be playing today will probably be linked in the description below, so you can check that out, so you can follow along during the video and hopefully use those afterwards while you practice every day. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to focus on today is mouthpiece buzzing. Now, mouthpiece buzzing is super boring for me, to be honest. I don't really like it, but I know it's super fundamental to playing the tuba, and also, more importantly, a lot of you might be stuck at home without a tuba and only with a mouthpiece. So I'm going to take my mouthpiece right now, and I'm just going to, the first thing that I always start with when I'm practicing is, for my warm-up, I like to start with lip slurs, and I start maybe in the middle of my range, like on a concert F, and then I just slur down. Okay? So I'm going to do that a few times, and I'm going to descend chromatically. So I start with a note that I'm comfortable with, and then I keep going down every time. And I keep going down all the way until I get to the bottom of my range. I can't really get any lower. This is a great way to get the blood flowing in your lips without really putting much effort into it. That's why I start in the mid to lower range, because it's a lot more comfortable there, and it's a great way to start warming up. Now, after I do a little bit of that, I like to move on to sirens. And sirens are just where you start at a low or high note and you go all the way down and then all the way back up. So I usually do this in three parts. I start low and then go high, and then I start high and go low, and then I do low, high, low. So it'll sound like this. Then I do that a few times, maybe 3 or 4 times. And then I go high, low. And do that a few more times. And then I like to put it together so it sounds like this. You want to take a really big, deep breath before you do all those, because it takes a lot of air to get that high and then back that far down. And you want to do it nice and slowly so that you can really work on that lip flexibility as you're warming up. Now, after I do a few sirens, I like to move on to long tones, but just on my mouthpiece, and we're going to do these in a second on the tuba. So I'll play some long tones. Usually, if you're familiar with the Remington exercise, you just start a note in the middle of a range, let's say a concert F, and then you just descend 1/2 step, and then go back to the concert F or whatever note, and then descend 2 half steps, so it'll sound like this. Then I keep going down for maybe an octave. And I go usually as far as my range permits me. There's a few variations. You can go start at a middle note and then go up. And you can do that for a while. Or you can go from that middle note down and then back to the middle note and then back up, so it'll sound like this. And you continue that on until you get to the extremities of your range, wherever you're comfortable. Now, the most important thing to remember while you're doing this is that with long tones or any sirens or any mouthpiece buzzing, you want it to be as comfortable and you want to make it try to make it feel really easy. It might not feel easy at first, especially when you get to the higher, lower ranges, but you want to try to relax your lips and make it feel as if you're playing tuba. Just like get a nice, good tone, and it doesn't sound pretty. It sounds like a buzz, okay? But it's not supposed to sound pretty. It's supposed to sound steady. You want to focus on getting a nice, controlled, and steady buzz. And so all these things that I've showed you, all these exercises, you can do them on a tuba as well. They're just to improve, they're great warm-ups, but they're also to improve your lip flexibility. And it makes a really big difference when you start using the tuba. And these are great exercises to use if you don't have a tuba, if you don't have access to a tuba. So I encourage you all to try to use these exercises every day. And pick a few, maybe. If you don't want to do all of them, just pick like 2 or 3. Maybe 1 lip slur, 1 Remington exercise, and then maybe some articulation if you like And then if you just do that every day, it'll really improve your playing ability. Alright, so now we finished warming up with our mouthpiece. So what I like to do next is I like to continue warming up with the tuba on Remington exercises just like we did with the mouthpiece. So we'll just start on usually a concert F, and I'll go down from there. And I'll just keep going down just like we did with the mouthpiece. So after I do that for a while, I'll move on to some lip slurs. And just keep in mind while I do this, if you don't have access to a tuba, because it might be at school or something, then you can do all these exercises on mouthpiece. So I will start with usually a lip slur descending from an octave fifth down to a root. So it'll sound like this. And then I'll keep going down as far as I can go with my range. That's a great way to start out with an easier lip slur before you get to the faster stuff. Now after that, I'll move on to a lip slur that starts usually in the higher range, and it'll go from up to a fifth or a third, and it'll sound like this. And again, I'm going to link all these exercises in the description so you can actually see what I'm talking about and hopefully use them in your practice session. So it'll sound like this. And I'll usually do those about as fast as I can, still with a good sound. So even if I think I can play them faster, I'll still keep them relatively slow to make sure that I can articulate all the notes and play them correctly. And then as I get better, I'll pick it up and play a little faster. So after that, I'll do a lip slur over an octave. So I'll start at a lower note and then jump an octave, slurring up, and that'll really help with your lip flexibility. And then I like to crescendo the note so that it gets louder, so you can also work on some dynamics while you're doing that. So it'll sound like this. And I'll go on until I get to maybe a low F. So that's basically what I do for lip slurs. I like to start out easy and make it a little bit harder as I go on. So once you finish up your lip slurs, you can move on to some range exercises. I'm going to do one high range exercise and one low range exercise. For the high range exercise, we're going to start on a C in the middle of the staff and play a chromatic scale up from there. So it'll sound like this. And then I'll go to a C sharp. And I'll keep going up from there to a D and then so on. And I'll just play an octave chromatic scale. And it gets pretty high, so if you want to start on an octave, take it down an octave and start from there, that's okay, and you'll just work up from there. After that, I'll do a low range exercise, working on intervals in your low range. And this starts on a C as well, but a C below the staff, and it goes all the way down to a pedal B flat. So it sounds like this. And then I'll start on a B natural. And it keeps going down from there. So once you finish warming up, we're going to move on to some actual music. So I'm going to use the Vaughan Williams Tuba Concerto. I'm going to show you a few techniques that you can use to practice, but you can apply these techniques to any piece of music that you're working on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate sections that don't sound good after I play it the first time, and I'm just going to work on those sections. So here it goes. This is probably not going to sound very good. Yeah, obviously not great. I fracked some articulations, missed a couple notes. The slurs were not very good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to isolate the sections that didn't sound good. And that was just the opener. It's a much longer song. So I use a technique where I start on the first note, and I play that a few times until I feel comfortable, and then I go to add the second note, and then I add the third note, and I just keep playing until I feel comfortable with the section. So this is how it'll sound. First note is a C. Now I'm going to add the second note because I feel comfortable with the first. And then I'm going to add the third. And So I feel pretty comfortable with that section, and it sort of repeats that same rhythm over and over again. So I don't have to practice it again and again, which is the beauty of using this technique. You're focusing on the spots that don't sound good, and that'll make you better throughout the whole song. So now, let's hope I improved a little bit, and we can see if the whole thing sounds better. Or not the whole thing, just the section that I'm practicing, which is the beginning. And I'll link this below as well if you want to try it. It's a pretty hard piece. I can't play it very well. So let's see how it sounds. I think it sounds a little better. Still not great, needs a lot of work, but I just fixed that one section and it sounds a lot better than when I started. So you can use that technique for any music that you're playing. So hopefully you got some things out of the methods that I showed you that you can use in your practice sessions now. I know it's pretty rough being stuck at home without any teachers, without even a tuba, but maybe you can take what I taught you today and use that to improve your practicing. Good luck.